There's a single silent move that changes everything. It's not a line, not a gift, not some perfectly crafted text you overthought for 20 minutes. It's a touch, one that lasts maybe 3 seconds. And in that sliver of time, her brain gets flooded with something that can make her feel bonded to you for hours. That's not some poetic exaggeration, that's biology, straight up neuroscience. And here's the crazy part. Most guys have no clue which touches actually work. They guess. They fumble. They do what they saw in some movie and then wonder why she pulls back. But the ones that land, the ones that make a woman feel something real, they're specific, they're intentional, and they say more than 100 sweet nothings ever could. A mature woman, and I'm talking about the kind who's been around, who's heard every line, who's sat through dinners where a guy tried too hard to impress her. She's done with words. She's been told she's beautiful more times than she can count. She's read the long texts. She's gotten the flowers. And while those things are nice, none of them actually crack the code. What moves her? What actually gets past those walls she spent years building? It's not what you say. It's how you make her feel, with your hands. Now, UC Berkeley did this study. They had strangers try to communicate emotions just through touch on the forearm. No words, no faces, just physical contact. And guess what? People got it right nearly 80% of the time. Gratitude, love, sympathy, they felt it all. Your mouth can't even do that. So if you've ever wondered why some guys seem to have this magnetic pull, while others get the "you're so sweet" speech, this is the difference. It's not about their job or their car. It's about knowing how to connect without saying a word. And when it comes to a woman who knows what she wants, who's been through enough to have a finely tuned radar for nonsense, she responds to this on an entirely different level. But before I take you through all of them, I'm going to tell you something. 2 of these touches might seem too simple. You might be tempted to skip them. Don't. Those are the ones that hit her hardest. And the last one? It's so powerful that therapists literally use it to pull couples back from the brink. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's start with the first one. Number 1 is the slow lower back guide. And I know what you're thinking. That's just basic gentleman stuff. But here's why it's not basic at all. The lower back is one of the most sensitive zones on the human body. It's loaded with nerve endings that are directly wired to the emotional centers in her brain. When you place your hand there, slow and steady, with warmth and just enough pressure, it sends a signal that bypasses her logic completely. It goes straight to her nervous system, and her nervous system says, safe. But most guys screw this up. They pat, they push, they turn it into something stiff or awkward. A pat feels like something her uncle would do. A heavy hand feels controlling. But a deliberate, warm placement of your palm, that triggers what psychologists call a protective bonding response. It tells her she doesn't have to be the strong one right now. And for a woman who's been carrying her own weight for years, that single gesture can feel more romantic than a dozen roses. There was a woman in her late 40s who wrote about this once. She said a guy put his hand on her back walking into a restaurant, and she felt something she hadn't felt in 15 years. She felt chosen. That's the power of it. And it doesn't cost you a thing. Number 2 is the two-handed handhold. And I'm not talking about just holding hands. Teenagers do that. This is when you take her hand and then wrap your other hand around it. You cradle hers, both of your hands holding one of hers. Maybe you're sitting across from her. Maybe she just shared something vulnerable. This touch uses something called bilateral stimulation. When both your hands are engaged, her brain reads it as total presence, total attention. Therapists actually use this kind of symmetrical touch in trauma therapy to help people feel grounded. So when you do it, you're telling her in a language older than words, "You have all of me right now." For a mature woman, this is devastating in the best way. She spent years with men who were there but not really there, sitting across from her at dinner but mentally checking their fantasy football scores. When you hold her hand like you have nowhere else to be, she feels it, she remembers it, and it makes her think, this one is different. And once she believes that, good luck to anyone else trying to compete. Number 3 is the forehead touch. And I mean forehead to forehead, eyes closed, breathing syncing up. This one catches her off guard because it's so intimate but so simple. You're not trying to escalate, you're just sharing a moment. Dr. Sue Johnson, the woman behind Emotionally Focused Therapy, talks about what she calls bonding moments, micro interactions that activate our deepest attachment systems. This is one of them. You can't do this from across the room. You have to be close. You have to slow down. You have to be vulnerable. And for a woman who spent years perfecting her walls, this touch is a quiet knock on a door she forgot she even had. It doesn't ask for anything. It just says, I'm here, with you, and that's enough. Number 4 is the back of the neck, the nape. This one is almost dangerous because of how effective it is. It's packed with nerve endings, and it's a vulnerable spot. She can't see it. She can't protect it easily. Touching it creates a spike in both arousal and trust at the same time. And that combination is rare. Most touches do one or the other. This one does both. When you gently place your fingers or palm there, her brain checks a few boxes fast. Am I safe? Do I trust him? Does this feel good? If the answers are yes, the response is almost instant. Her breathing changes. Her pupils dilate. Her brain releases dopamine and oxytocin together, the exact cocktail for romantic attachment. Here's the thing. A younger woman might not even know what hit her, but a mature woman? She knows exactly what you're communicating. Confidence, warmth, familiarity without assumption. She's been waiting for that level of awareness. But a word of caution, timing is everything. You can't do this with a stranger. That's not romantic. That's a problem. This works because trust is already there. It's a progression, not a shortcut. Number 5 is the thumb stroke. And I told you this one was almost unfair. It happens when you're already touching her, maybe holding her hand, maybe your hand is on her arm or her shoulder, and without making a big deal out of it, your thumb moves, slow, small, rhythmic strokes against her skin. You don't announce it, you don't look down at your hand, you just do it while you're talking about something ordinary. This works because of specific nerve fibers called C-tactile afferents. They respond only to slow, gentle touch, and they're directly connected to the parts of her brain that process emotional connection. Researchers found that this kind of touch activates the insular cortex, which handles feelings of intimacy and closeness. So while you're talking about your day, her brain is quietly registering, I feel close to him, I feel safe with him. And because it's so subtle, she might not even realize what you're doing. But her body does. Her heart does. And she thinks, he doesn't even know he's doing that. This is just who he is. And that belief that your tenderness is natural is what makes her fall. Not the big, planned gestures. That small, absent-minded thumb movement. Number 6 is the silent pull. This is when you're sitting next to her, and without saying a word, you reach over and gently pull her closer. Maybe your arm goes around her and you draw her in. Maybe your hand finds her waist. No announcement, no come here, just movement. In attachment theory, proximity seeking is a sign of secure bonding. It's the instinct to reduce the distance between you. When you pull her closer without being asked, you're mirroring that. You're saying, the space between us felt wrong. I wanted you nearer. For a woman in her late 30s, 40s, or beyond, this hits different. She's probably spent years feeling like she had to earn closeness by being agreeable, accommodating, perfect. She's been in relationships where physical affection only came with strings attached. So when you pull her close just because you want her near you, not because you want something from her, it rewrites a story she's been telling herself for a long time. It tells her she's wanted just for existing. And if you don't think that's powerful, you've never seen a strong, independent woman melt into the side of a man who just pulled her closer during a quiet moment. And finally, number 7, the long hold hug. Not a quick squeeze, not a pat on the back. I'm talking full arms, chest to chest, lasting a minimum of 20 seconds. And that number matters. Research shows that hugs lasting 20 seconds or more trigger a significant release of oxytocin while lowering cortisol, the stress hormone. Her heart rate slows, her blood pressure drops, her body shifts from fight or flight mode into a state of rest and bonding. John Gottman, who studied relationships for over 40 years, prescribes extended hugging to couples in crisis. It's not just a nice thought. It's an actual intervention. Now, by the time a woman reaches her 40s or 50s, she's likely experienced loss, betrayal, loneliness she never talked about. She's learned to hold herself together so well that nobody even sees her hurting. She became her own support system because she had to. When you wrap your arms around her and don't let go, not for 2 seconds, but for a real, unhurried embrace, something shifts. All those walls, all that armor, it softens, not because she's weak, but because for the first time in a long time, she doesn't have to be strong. That is the most powerful thing touch can do. Not excite her, not impress her, but relieve her. Give her permission to stop holding everything together, just for a minute. If you can be that guy, she won't just fall for you. She will choose you. Deliberately, repeatedly, with every part of herself she's been protecting from the wrong people. So now you know them. 7 touches, backed by science, psychology, and the real experiences of women who know what connection actually feels like. The beautiful part? None of this requires money, no status, no perfect timing. It just needs your awareness, your intention, and the willingness to slow down enough to be present. But here's the catch. Knowing these touches is only half the battle. Here's what most guys miss. A mature woman won't wait around forever for you to figure it out. She's going to be sending you signals of her own. Clear ones, subtle ones. And if you miss those, none of what you learned today will matter. That's exactly what the next video is about. It's called, If a Woman Wants Intimacy, She'll Do These 6 Things. It breaks down the exact behavior she shows when she's already decided she wants to be closer to you. And I'm telling you, if you miss those signals, the timing will never be right. It's waiting for you right now. Go click it. Your future self will thank you.